Hey folks, Callan here from Sumthins Recording, and today we are finishing up breaking down a rock mix, and we are looking at the Mixbus processing. Today we're going over the Mixbus processing for this track, but before we dive in, if you're ready to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process in its entirety and really start to hone your workflow as an audio engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and it's just a simple PDF that will walk you through the entire mixing process step by step to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without any more of the hassle and without any more of the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here, and we'll look at this mix, and I will show you the Mixbus processing for this track. Let me, of course, start by playing you the finished mix for this song here, in case you forget what it's sounding like. And then we'll dive into the processing on the Mixbus. There's two things we're going to go over here. We have what I call my Mix A, and then there's the actual Mixbus. So Mix A is kind of a pseudo Mixbus. You can see this is where everything is sending inside the track, and then this Mix A sends out to my Mixbus. Oh, excuse me. Now, the reason I do it like this is because if I want to do any parallel processing on my Mixbus, I do it on Mix A. So I'll create a duplicate, call it Mix B, and do any kind of parallel compression or anything like that. And then both of these will send into my Mixbus. So my Mixbus only has the limiter on it, and I use it for any kind of master automation. And then, of course, that sends out to the main here in Studio One. So let me play you the finished mix here, and you can hear what we're sounding like in this track.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart.
All right, so that's what our finished mix is sounding like here. It's a good sounding final mix, if I do say so myself, I guess. We got 3 main plugins we're going to look at on the Mixbus, or on our Mix A here, and then we've got the limiter, the final limiter on the Mixbus. Now, let me show you what we're sounding like without the processing on the Mixbus here. So I'll leave it on for the moment, and then I'll click it off. You can hear what our mix sounds like without the Mixbus processing in.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step.
So we're losing a couple things here. We're losing some depth, we're losing some weight in the bottom end there, some warmth, and we're losing the element gluing our track together. And that's what we're going to get here from these 3 plugins. Each of them serve their purpose, and each of them are on my Mixbus for a reason. Now let's look at the first one here. The first one on my Mixbus at the top of the chain is the console shaper. Now you can use anything in this instance, any kind of console emulator. There's the Waves and NLS you could use. Of course, there's the Slate Digital Virtual Console Collection, which I've heard is awesome. I've never really used that. I've always stuck with the PreSonus console shaper here, and I'm running it on 0. You can see it's pretty much all the way zeroed. I don't have the noise turned on. I don't have the crosstalk turned on. If I was going for something maybe to emphasize some live feel, I could turn the crosstalk on. If I needed to add some noise, to add some maybe extra warmth or some analog feel, I could turn the noise on. I don't run those two normally. I'm usually only using the drive, and I have the drive turned all the way down to 0, but it's still adding that console depth, that console warmth. It's rolling off some of those digital edges here. So take a listen without the console shaper, and then with. Listen to how our mix changes overall.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close,
even running this on 0 here, we get that extra level of depth that you would get from running through an analog console. It kind of blends some of the tracks together by pushing them all up on an analog console. And that's the idea here. That's the feel, the vibe we're getting from pushing into this console shaper, even running at 0, even running it all the way down. We get that analog vibe. It rolls off some of those digital edges, so it's not so flat feeling. It gives us that extension of depth into our track. So listen one more time here with it, and then I'll take it out.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps.
One of my favorite subtle ways to kind of enhance the mix right from the get-go here with the console shaper. If you haven't messed with console emulation before, I definitely recommend giving it a shot if you do a demo of like the Waves NLS or the virtual console collection. Or if you're using Studio One, try out the console shaper, even if you do just put it at the top of your Mixbus and run it at 0 like this. You will definitely feel the effects. Now, the next thing we're using here is a Mixbus compressor. Now, I used to use actually just the stock compressor here inside of Studio One, but when I got, I don't know if it was my board or if I upgraded to Studio One Professional, I got access to some of the other fat channel compressors, and I started using the Britcomp, which is an SSL style bus compressor here. Now, I'm running it at 2-to-1 ratio, so the lowest ratio here, slowest attack, 30 millisecond attack, and then 100 millisecond release, so the fastest release here, because we don't want to grab any transients too hard and we don't want to hold on to anything too long, because you got to keep in mind we're compressing the entire mix. So we're not going to do a lot of work here, but it's going to go a long way to gluing our mix together. That's the goal, is we want to glue all of these tracks together with one compressor. So take a listen without and then with.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps.
So for me, what Mixbus compression is doing is it's taking the song from being a whole bunch of individual tracks that are just balanced together to being one cohesive song. That's what you want out of Mixbus compression. We're only doing 2 dB reduction here, but it's across the entire mix. So that little 2 dB of compression is helping to solidify our track as one song instead of however many 35 or 40 tracks here that we have running. Also, I like this Britcomp or the SSL style bus compressor because it does give a little bit of fatness to the bottom end, which is really, really nice. So listen one more time. We'll start with it and then I'll take it out. You can kind of hear how we get that level of separation between all of our tracks that you don't necessarily want. You want that cohesion as one song.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close. But take 3 steps, and I'm in your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too.
Okay, so we've done our depth. That's our console shaper. Now we've added a level of glue with our Mixbus compressor. The last thing we're reaching for here is that addition of analog warmth. We get some of that with the console shaper, but again, I'm not pushing that too hard here. What I put at the end of my Mix A chain, or technically my Mixbus chain, right, pre-limiter, is a tape machine. It's going to take a second to load up here for the first time. This is actually one of the only third-party plugins that I'm using, but it does integrate really well with Studio One. You can kind of see it shows up on the top here with the console shaper, which is really, really nice. Softtube has always worked really well with PreSonus. So I'm running the Softtube tape machine. I pretty much run it close to default. I just kick it up to 5.1 here on the amount, and I run it on the B setting. And if it's not, if it doesn't open up at 15 nips on the tape speed, 15 inches per second, I put it up to 30 here. So I run it at the highest inches per second. Now, the reason I run it on the B setting is because it gives an extra boost of bottom end. So it gives me the warmth of hitting tape, but it emphasizes some bottom end warmth, which is what I really, really like about this tape machine. So listen here without it, and then I'll kick it in. Pay attention especially to our bottom end, how our kick drum changes.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do
You can kind of see I like sitting between about the 7 and the 5 on the VU meter here, and that gives me enough of the color from the tape machine that I get that warmth in the bottom end, and that I get that analog tape vibe running across the track here. So again, it's just another element of fighting that digititis from mixing in the box here, but without the inconvenience of having a huge console and having to run into a tape machine and print the tape. And we have the recallability of digital, but we're getting that color and that vibe from the analog side of things here. Listen one more time without the tape machine and then with it. You'll hear that level of bottom end come in that helps it feel solid down there.
one step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps.
Really solidifies the relationship between our kick drum and our bass guitar. Now, these are things that I've settled on over the years. If you're not trying stuff on your Mixbus, I definitely recommend trying these things. I've tried a lot of stuff. I've tried clippers, I've tried multi-band compression, I've tried serial compression and EQ and all the sorts, but I've settled into these 3 things: the console shaper, the Mixbus compressor, and the tape machine over the years. So if you're not using any of these 3, I would say give them a shot. They definitely add some vibe and some color, and they help glue your song together. Now, last but not least here on the actual Mixbus is my limiter. I run this while I'm mixing, but then when I send to mastering, I take this off before I send the mix to mastering. All this does is it sets my mix at a commercial level, and it gives me that mastering style limiting, so I know closer what the track is going to sound like when it is mastered. That way there's no surprises bumping up the level or anything like that. So take a listen here, and I'll A-B the limiter for you. You're going to hear a dip in volume by about 6 dB here. That's all we're doing. I've set the ceiling to -1, and then I've pushed 6 dB up of gain into it. So it brings my mix level up to a master level, and I get that dB or 2 dB of limiting that kind of sets the track at a master. So take a listen with the limiter, and I'll turn it off. You can kind of hear our before, our after, and our before.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step.
This here isn't a huge deal, but for me, it mitigates any kind of surprises come mastering time. I like to have that finishing touch going while I'm mixing. So all my Mixbus processing and then my limiter as well are in from the get-go. I mix into these so there's no surprises, frequency-wise or volume-wise when it comes to mastering. I may get, an extra dB of volume when it goes to mastering, but the tones aren't going to shift around. My instrument balances aren't going to shift around because I have all of this in from the get-go, so I know what it's going to sound like and I know how to set my balances correctly. So one more time here, I'll do a full A-B on our Mixbus processing here, and you can hear our before and our after.
One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far. Take 2 steps, way too close, but take 3 steps, and I'm into your arms. I'll do all it takes to get to your heart. One step, and it's much too far.
So the next mix you pull up here, I would encourage you to give Mixbus processing a shot, whether you try a console shaper for some depth, a Mixbus compressor to get that element of glue, a tape machine to add some analog warmth, or you try a limiter to get that mastering touch. Give one of them a shot and you'll see how it improves your next mix. That is it here for our mix breakdown. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to take your mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your workflows in Audio Engineer, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and you can download it below to start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.